Maya Chen stood at the head of the boardroom table, her hands steady despite the storm she could feel coming. She built this tech company from 3 people in a garage to 500 employees, pouring her soul into every innovation, every hire, every late night. But today, the all-white board of directors had other plans. Chairman Richard Sterling cleared his throat, and the room went cold. "We've decided to make a leadership change," he announced, not even looking at her, his voice flat and final. Maya's assistant was called in, then security guards appeared at the door like she was some kind of threat. "Effective immediately," Sterling continued, "we need someone who better fits the company culture going forward." The words hit her like a slap, and suddenly everything made sense. The whispered conversations that stopped when she entered rooms, the resistance every time she pushed for diversity initiatives, the way they'd smile to her face and undermine her behind closed doors. The other executives, people she'd mentored and promoted and believed in, sat frozen in their chairs. Not one spoke up, not one met her eyes, not one showed an ounce of the courage she'd tried to instill in them. "You're making a mistake," Maya said quietly, her voice controlled even as her heart pounded. Sterling stood, making it clear the conversation was over. She gathered her belongings, her tablet, the photo of her daughter, 3 years of her life in a cardboard box. The walk to the door stretched like miles, while employees lined the hallway, phones out, some filming her humiliation. But what the board didn't know, what Sterling and his cronies couldn't have imagined, was that Maya had planned for betrayal, and she'd left herself one final move that would change everything. 3 months passed, and Maya watched from a distance as the company she built began to crumble in slow motion. Sterling appointed himself interim CEO, and the leadership team celebrated with expensive dinners, toasting their victory like they'd actually earned something. But cracks appeared fast. Key clients started pulling contracts, citing vague strategic differences that weren't vague at all. The groundbreaking AI project Maya had poured her heart into stalled completely because nobody else understood her vision, nobody else had her mind. Talented employees resigned in waves, many sending Maya private messages of solidarity, telling her what was really happening inside those walls. Then the first article dropped like a bomb: "Tech Darlings' Dark Culture, Former Employees Speak Out." Anonymous testimonies described discrimination, harassment, retaliation against anyone who dared question the new direction. Sterling called an emergency board meeting, but 3 members didn't show, and when he frantically checked his email, he found their resignation letters. They'd been quietly investigating, horrified by what they'd uncovered. The real earthquake hit when Maya's lawyer sent a letter to the remaining board members, and suddenly everyone realized she'd been 10 steps ahead the entire time. She documented everything, every discriminatory comment in meetings, every time she was interrupted or dismissed, every qualified diverse candidate the board mysteriously rejected. And she discovered Sterling's secret: financial irregularities, contracts funneled to companies he personally owned, violations that could put him in prison. The board panicked as the company's valuation plummeted and investors demanded blood. Then Maya's phone rang with the call that would change everything: the company's largest institutional investor, the one with enough shares to force anything they wanted. "We need you to come back," the voice said, "and this time, you're in complete control." The boardroom was full again, but everything had shifted. New faces sat where Sterling's allies once held court. Lawyers lined the walls like witnesses to history, and at the head of the table, exactly where she belonged, sat Maya Chen. "Before we begin," she said, her voice steady and clear as glass, "I want to make something absolutely clear. I'm not here for revenge, I'm here for justice, and I'm here to save this company for the employees who never stopped believing." The institutional investors had done their homework, and Sterling was gone, facing legal action for breach of duty and self-dealing, his reputation destroyed by his own greed. But Maya had insisted on something deeper, something that would actually heal the wound: a complete leadership review of every person who'd sat silent that day. One by one, she addressed the executives who'd watched her humiliation without saying a word. "You had a choice," she told them, her words cutting clean through their excuses. "You chose your own comfort over what was right. You chose complicity over courage." Some tried to defend themselves, talking about mortgages and families and job security, but Maya wasn't buying it. "The diverse employees you allowed to be pushed out had families too, had bills too. The difference is they didn't have power and you did, and you used it to protect yourselves while others suffered. The terminations were professional and final. Every single executive who stayed silent that day was removed, and Maya rebuilt the leadership team with people who understood that diversity wasn't a buzzword, but the foundation of everything. That young employee who'd mouthed, "I'm sorry," became VP of engineering. 6 months later, the company announced record profits, and Maya kept one photo in her office, herself walking out that day, head high despite everything, with a quote beneath it: "They tried to bury us, they didn't know we were seeds."